So welcome back to our lead generation series, Wednesday evenings. Today we're talking about client events. Have fun, grow your database, everybody wins. Remember, I'm a big proponent of having 5 different types of lead generation. The first one should always be your database. You should be digging into your circle of influence in your database, making those calls, moving forward with that 36 plus interaction plan that we've talked about 300 times. But you'll probably hear it multiple other times as well. So you should be doing that with your database. The second way you should be lead generating is you should be generating leads from your listings. We've talked about that in this lead generation series. You can go back and watch the recording if you have questions about that. But you should be generating, you should be using those listings for leverage to generate additional leads. My goal is generally 3 leads per listing. So anyways, so that should be your second. The additional 3 methods of lead gen you get to choose from. I always recommend that you become kind of an expert in the first one first, that you dabble in the other ones, but you put all your systems and processes in place in that third lead generation option before you really put systems in place in number 4 and number 5. You're kind of earning your right to move on through the ranks of that lead generation. So, we enact our sphere of influence, our database plan, which earns us the right then to focus and put systems and processes in place for our listings, which then earns us the right to put systems and processes in place for, let's say, client events, right? So there's lots of different methods for lead generation. There is no wrong or right way to do it. And there's no like, oh, everybody says open houses are good, so I guess I got to do these. Gosh, I really hate open houses. Don't do them. Pick something else. Pick something that you're having fun with, that you enjoy doing. For me, events, that stresses me out. Okay. I don't mind planning events, but please don't put me in a room with people, especially people that I may not know everyone. That's going to make me feel exhausted and worn out. It creates anxiety. I'm a true introvert. I'm really happy in the mountains of North Idaho, where there's only like 2,500 people in the county. That brings me joy and happiness, right? So this stresses me out, but this is one type of lead gen. And again, there's no wrong or right way. So let's touch on events, client events, on how we can utilize that to generate leads. For this portion, we're going to cover how to run client events, talk about making sure that you expand your guest list to generate new leads. We're also going to talk about other events than just client events, things like seminars, housewarming parties, and charity events, and then we'll wrap up. As always, if you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask your question. You can raise your little Zoom hand if you want. I do not have the chat box open, so don't throw them in the chat box because I may not see them. So let's get started. All right, systems and processes. If you attend any of my trainings, you're probably tired of hearing me say those 2 words. But if you start with systems and processes, it makes it so much easier to grow your business and still offer the same level of high quality service. So when we talk about events, it's no different. We want to make sure that we have systems and processes in place. Okay, this allows you to make client events, seminars, housewarming parties, or charity events your lead generation activity, and we want to think big. Okay, it should be a year-round activity. Okay, with the ultimate goal should be to host about 8 events per year, or basically 1 every 6 weeks. Okay, because our system and process leading up to it's going to be about 6 weeks. The invite process is going to be a 4 to 6 week invite. And then you're going to have follow-up tasks after the event. Okay. However, that being said, just like most other lead generation activities that I talk about, you may not want to start with 1 event every 6 weeks. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get buried. You're going to get lost in the mess. So start with maybe like 1 event per quarter. Okay. And then we'll start adding from there. Okay. The gold in the events is found in the invite and in the follow-up, not necessarily in the event itself. Okay, you're going to have multiple interactions leading up to and following the event. So even if the people that you invite don't show up, you're still going to have multiple interactions with them. I highly recommend that the events that you choose to do They should represent you, who you are, and they should be considered fun to you. Okay, think about what you and your database might enjoy doing. What kind of event or activity would draw them in? And think about what you can do to create that wow factor. Okay. It might be things like, it could be an event like you rent out a movie theater and you go see a new release movie, or maybe you rent a pool or a gymnastics gym, or maybe you have a winery and you go and invite everybody to a wine tasting, right? There are so many ideas and opportunities out there for events. It could be just like, I'm doing Fireside Fridays. I opened it up to anybody. Can come join us on Friday nights. We'll have the fire going. We have s'mores. They can bring dinner if they would like. They can bring friends. We just wanted to make it a fun event to be able to dig deeper into relationships. So there's no wrong or right answer, right? You could do happy hours. Okay. So you just want to make sure that just think of types of events that's going to draw people in and that you're going to have fun doing.
Do I have to come to Idaho for your Friday night fire
You
thing?
do. You have to come to, for
Okay.
Fireside Fridays, you have to come to North Idaho.
Okay.
But you're welcome to join me anytime.
Okay.
Bring a horse. We'll go for a trail ride.
Okay.
All right. In addition, you can create relationships with vendors, right? So you can ask your key vendors to help co-sponsor events, and that's going to help you share the costs so that you don't have to pocket 100% of that cost. They can also help with the planning and make sure anything isn't missed in the preparation. Okay, so this is a good reason to have those relationships with vendors, things like insurance agents, lenders, right? NHD companies, whoever that might be, like have those relationships, maybe even handymen, right? Because those people, they like a handyman, they don't just happen at the transaction. People could use them at any time. Home inspection companies, pest control companies, right? The possibilities are endless for vendors that you could have relationships with that would also benefit from events. You want to make sure to document all the preparation steps leading up to and all the follow-up steps that you plan to do and that you actually execute. And you also want to debrief after each event. If you hosted it by yourself, you can debrief with yourself. If you have an accountability partner, debrief with your accountability partner. If you invited vendors to be part of the event, plan a follow-up meeting with all of your vendors afterwards to say, hey, what worked, what didn't work, right? That way that you can pivot and make changes for the next one. And that's going to cause you to create a well-oiled machine of systems and processes leading up to at the event and the follow-up that's going to be easy to just continue to duplicate and get you to those events every 6 weeks. Okay. Each event, the goal should be to create 10 to 15 interactions with each person. Okay, it's going to be a mix of phone, text, email, social media, and mail. For instance, we may send out a save the date email. We may send out the official invite to who we're inviting in the mail. We might do an invite follow-up phone call. We might want to send out a thanks for the RSVP or check in on a status if they haven't RSVP'd text. We might want to send them a reminder about the event that might go out via email, maybe a second reminder about the event in the phone call, and a third or final reminder, something like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you, or are you sure you can't make it type text? Okay, that's like 8 interactions right there, right? I would highly recommend that your RSVP should be digital so that you can track people RSVPing. Even better if it will help you automate some of the follow-up. So sometimes our RSVP systems will automatically follow up with them. You can set it to send out an email or a text message before the event. So that makes it even easier for you. You're going to then interact with them at the event with the goal to talk to everyone. Okay, we're at 9. And then you're going to follow up, send them a card in the mail, right? Thank you for coming, or sorry you couldn't make it. Then you're going to call them to follow up, as well as send an email. We haven't even talked about social media yet. This is a great time to make sure that we send out the invite on social media. You could do a video, and you can actually tag specific people in the video. So if it's an exclusive event, you could actually do a "we can't wait to see you" type thing on your social media, and just make it so those people see it. You could also, after the event, do videos and reels and stories from the event, record little snippets, and throw them out there on social media to create FOMO for the next event. Okay. I highly recommend having a party favor to send people home with, something that is fun, and that can grow in value as your business grows. So at the beginning, the party favor may be something simple, but as you get bigger and bigger, we may want to make it match that. Or as you continue to get business from these events, then we may want to step up our game on those party favors as you've got a bigger budget. Any questions before we move on?
Nope.
All right. Fabulous. Now, we also said that we want to expand our guest list, right? We want to make it a lead generation event. So not just like prospecting, right? Prospecting would be dealing with potentially like just our existing database, the people that we know we run into, we invite them to the event. We hope that we're going to stay top of mind. We may be asking for referrals while they're there at the event or with our follow-up, but we could actually use these events to grow our database. So you could encourage those coming to invite friends or family to the event, right? So you could even say, hey, we're doing a giveaway for a free iPad or something cool and exciting. And for every guest that you bring, or if you bring a guest this time, you get an extra free entry into the drawing. Or we're holding just a drawing for a special drawing for people who bring additional people to the event. So bring someone with you, bring your neighbor, bring your friend from work, whoever it might be. It's going to be a fun night. So just a way to kind of reach out and expand your reach beyond just those that you know. And again, we want to promote some more. So get it out there on social media. Get it out there on emails, mail. Hand-delivered invites could expand your reach as well. So maybe you've got like a farm and you want to invite everybody in the farm, or maybe you've decided that you're doing a fun event for people with kids, and so you want to invite the parents from your child's classroom or sports team. Maybe you're going to do a fun poker ride with horses. So maybe you're inviting everybody from your riding club that you do barrels with, right? Like think outside the box. It can be really fun and exciting. So expand that guest list. You can focus your client on client events, or you can focus on expanding your reach outside. There's no wrong or right way to do that. If we want to focus outside our COI, so maybe we don't want to even necessarily invite our circle of influence, or we want to make it pertinent to potential home buyers or sellers, one way to do that is to host seminars. Okay, so we've talked about events. We'll dig a little deeper into some ideas here in a minute, but an additional way to do this would be to host seminars, right? And you can either do these in person, you could do them online. It could be something like a first-time home buyer seminar. It could be an investor seminar, like getting started in investing, right? It could be like a prepping to sell your home, maybe things you should know when moving out of state, right? There's so many other options. It could be maybe you have a heart for those that live in the country that have horses. So maybe you want to host a seminar on making your house fire ready. Maybe you recently had twins and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so overwhelming. I forgot how hard it is to like baby proof a house or prepare for bringing a newborn home. So maybe you're going to host a seminar on baby proofing your house, right? So there's no wrong or right answer for these seminars. Again, we want to make it something that will appeal to the people that you want to invite. And think about what excites you and what would bring you joy and happiness and make you excited to do it. And then find people that you can partner with to help you with those seminars, right? So again, we can always pair with vendors. They will help cover the cost. They may even have better strategic partners that can help present at these events. And they may invite people as well to help expand the reach of that seminar, right? So maybe for like a first-time home buyer seminar, you may want a lender helping so that they can deliver expertise on getting pre-qualified, the loan process. If we were hosting a seminar on fire safety or preparing your house for fire season, we may want somebody from like Cal Fire to come to the event. If it was a baby proofing class or a seminar, we may want like a baby proofing company to come and do a presentation on the things that you should pay attention to, or a lot of things people miss, right? So all sorts of good options. If you're going to do seminars, okay, I would highly recommend that your goal for a seminar should be one seminar per month. And I would pick a date and time and commit to it, such as your seminars are always run on the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. And you might decide that you want to do every month this year is the same seminar, so that as people come, they invite other people. You may decide that every month you're going to do a different seminar based on what people should know going into the next season, right? So whatever that might be, just kind of think about it and decide how you want to run. In the beginning, it might be easier just to choose to do the same seminar every month for a quarter. And then when you successfully run that, then you'd be like, okay, the next quarter, we're going to run a different seminar. And the next quarter, we're going to run a different one for those 3 months, right? And then maybe year 2, now you're like, well, now I've got this down. I've got the system in place. I've got the process. I know how to get people seeing these invites. I know how to get people in the door. So now I'm going to do a different one every month to change it up and make it more fun, and hope that people will come back time and time again for these seminars. I would use something like Eventbrite to manage the registrations and follow up with registrations as soon as they register to qualify them. And if qualified, depending on the seminar, if it's something like a first-time home buyer seminar or prepping your house for sale, or maybe even preparing for like investing in real estate, you may want to aim to actually set an appointment for a one-on-one consultation even before the seminar. Okay, but follow up with them, start building that relationship, because oftentimes the people that come to the seminars aren't people we have current relationships with, although I would absolutely invite my database, but we want to make sure we start building that relationship. So somebody registers for the seminar, I'm going to immediately pick up the phone as soon as I see that registration come through, and it's during business hours, and I'm going to shoot them over a text message or give them a phone call and say, thank you so much for registering. What are you hoping to get out of this seminar, right? So we just want to start creating that relationship. For seminars, we want to make sure we promote them everywhere, and you're going to target people that may be interested in that seminar, right? So if we are hosting an investment seminar, how to get started with real estate investments or just investments in general, we may want to target homeowners that have like 90% equity in their home for that investor seminar. Okay, we want to send mailers, promote on social media, advertise at local businesses. And if you're like, Amy, how would I ever do that? The title company can help you find those people. They've got in their database, they can actually show you how to pull those names and addresses of people locally that based on the automated value system shows that they've got, you know, quite a bit of equity in their property. When it's time for the seminar, make sure to let everyone introduce themselves, state their goals for the class, and make sure you leave time at the end for questions and time to work to connect with each attendee individually, whether in person or virtually. It's a little harder virtually, and you may want to, like on Zoom, you can send private messages. So as people show up into the room, you may want to be sending them a private message. Thank you so much for joining. I'm really glad you were able to make it. You know, and just kind of work to connect with them as you're preparing for that seminar. Especially if somebody else is presenting, it makes it even easier because you can be like chatting with people in that chat box while the seminar is going on. After the seminar, you want to be the resource by putting them on your long-term interaction campaign to connect with them often and continue to provide value. Okay. You may want to be strategic with what kind of seminar they attended. For instance, if it was a seller seminar, you may want to follow up with them with a market analysis report. You may want to make friends with a stager and offer a free staging consultation or a free home inspection, or maybe talk about the importance of pre-sale inspections and connect them with some of those resources that they could do. Maybe you want to send out your list of referral contractors, refer handymen, so that if they have repairs or things they want to get done, they have the ability to do that. So there's so many things that you could do. If you're connecting with people in the country talking about fire safety, then we may want to think about what other things do people in the country need, right? Oh, well, they need access to people that maybe can help them mow their weeds down, right? For fire safety, or maybe can help them do anything that they would need for those fire safety things, or, other things that occur to people that live in the country, right? So if we hosted a seminar for child proofing, most of these people probably have kids and they're probably young kids. So maybe we want to send them out the list of fun summer activities in the area that are free or cheap. Like, when it's over 100 degrees, you can ice skate for free. Or if they're doing a summer movie series at the local theater, or what time the pools are open, right? Or maybe even a list of the camps that are offered through the City of Vacaville program, right? So there's so many options of things that you could offer people, and you want to make it valuable and pertinent to who they are and what the seminar is that they attended. Any questions about seminars? All right.
Nope.
Very good. Moving right along, right? Referrals, housewarming parties. How cool is it that we could use our closed sales and leverage those for lead generation by hosting housewarming parties, right? So you can let your clients know during the purchase transaction that you would love to throw them a housewarming party. And as long as they're open to that, then plan to do so. Let them know that you'll take care of all the invites, the food, the beverages, and the fun. And all they have to do is give you the list of people that they want to invite. Oh my gosh, look, we just grew our database by like 30 people. Magic, right? Again, I would use an electronic invite system and make sure you have names, numbers, emails, and addresses for the invitees. Usually with electronic emails, you can make things required. You could mail them out if you got addresses. You can mail them out an official invite as well, with like a QR code to scan, or your phone number that they could RSVP that way. You're going to add all of those people to your database, and you want to make sure to tag them so you know where they came from, right? So if it were me and I was putting them in my database, and it was like client Smith's housewarming party, I would tag them with Smith housewarming so that I know where that client came from. And we're going to put them on what we would call a 19 to connect campaign. We want to get them to start interacting with us, because we're going to guess at the beginning that they are just getting to know us. We're going to send out the invites. We're going to do the same thing that we would do for like a client event, like send out those reminders. Can't wait to see you at the housewarming party. Right? We're going to follow up with those. Thank you so much for joining. I know that meant so much to the Smiths that you were there. Super cool. If you ever need anything real estate related, I'd be happy to offer you the same level of service that I offered the Smiths, right? So super cool opportunity there where you could open it up with probably 3 or 4 or 5 touches just with the invites and the follow-up to the party. I personally would make it easy on myself by serving the same food and having the same theme at each party, right? It makes it easy for you just to repeat. And I would also make sure that you create or have a photo booth propped of some sort. You can make them really easy out of like PVC pipe, something that you can use so that people can take pictures with the new homeowners, make it fun. Mail and email, when you send out those invites, make it on behalf of the party that you're hosting the housewarming for. So the Smiths would like me to invite you to their housewarming party, right? And make sure you're there at the housewarming party so that you can mingle with all the people that you've now invited that have RSVP'd. You're going to take the photos and videos that you can send to the clients, right? Have somebody there snapping shots. It can be with a cell phone. It really doesn't matter, at the like selfie booth or whatever, so that people don't have to have their arm in there and they can just get pictures. Then you make sure they have their number, that you can send them a copy of it, or you can airdrop it to them. And then that way you can also send all of those photos to your clients that you're hosting that housewarming for, to make it fun. Again, goal is fun, right? Your conversations don't even have to be about real estate, but you may want to keep notes with who you've talked to and what you've talked about, so that you can follow up with them. And as you have conversations with them in the future, you can pick up where you left off. In addition to inviting the people on their list that they would like to invite, friends and family, you may want to also invite their closest neighbors so that they can meet the neighbors, right? Check with your clients to make sure that's okay. But I would invite, just a few kind of on each side of their house and some across the street, so they have the opportunity to meet their community and know who is in their neighborhood. In addition to adding them to your database, putting them on that 19 plus to connect touch plan, you're also going to want to send out a thank you email for attending. And I would do it with like a video or a slideshow from the party. So maybe you take some time to put together some clips with some music of the party and the fun that was had, or a slideshow of the photos that you took while everybody was there. Send that out with it as well. I mean, gosh, who wouldn't want to have a realtor who's going to host a housewarming party for them after they move into their property? Super cool. Any questions about that before we move on?
Nope. I'm
Fabulous. Good. All right. So far we have client events you could do. We have seminars you could do. We have housewarming parties you can do. And the last type of event that you may want to do is to have charity events, right? Because this gives you the ability to reach out to the community. It gives you a reason to reach out to your database with not just like come have fun, but have fun with a purpose. Okay. It could be like a theme night, right? So a party with a purpose. So maybe it's, hey, we're doing a diaper drive for the local like moms, I don't know, like safe haven type group, right? Where women go to get away from domestic violence and they have kids and stuff, or a clothing drive for women in that situation. And maybe if you hosted the event like at a restaurant, if they brought the package of diapers or whatever it was that your theme was, then you cover the cover charge, or they get 10% off their bill or something like that, right? And you can even get the business to participate in that. So if you were hosting it at like Petrillo's or whatever, right? You could say, hey, we want to host this party with a purpose. We're raising awareness for this event. We're having them bring diapers for maybe moms that can't afford diapers. Would you be willing that if they brought, at least a 30 pack of diapers, to give them 10% off their bill? Right? Something fun. You could also, so you could just do small things like that, right? Small events. You could also host big charity events, right? Something to bring greater awareness to a specific charity or group. And you could really go all out with these. You could have sponsors again, that help cover the cost. You could charge to attend them, right? That would help cover the cost not covered by the sponsors. Plus, you're looking to raise money for the charity. It could be a good opportunity to host maybe at like a newer restaurant in town that's looking to grow clientele, because they may be willing to offer you a deal to help them bring more awareness of their business. And maybe even consider events where they can bring kids, like renting the ice skating rink, gymnastics gym, local pool, something to have fun, right? And it could be, hey, we're hosting this event to bring awareness to the local animal rescue. We're going to have it at the park, and there's going to be a petting zoo where they're going to bring a bunch of the animals that they have. They'll also have animals that they can, people can adopt. It's, you know, whatever it is, we're going to have bounce houses and water slides or whatever that might be. You can make it fun and to really help raise awareness for that organization as well. You want to make them must attend events and create that FOMO, right? That fear of missing out. So you're going to post photos and videos, send out a highlight or recap email to make them want to attend the next event. And if you're going to go this route where we're really looking at giving back to charities, you may even want to think about starting your own nonprofit or tying it in to whatever charity you're supporting or charities that you're supporting. You may, or if you have your own nonprofit, you might want to tie that into your real estate business as well, with X percentage of each closing, of the commission of each closing goes to support that charity. And it may be that you do like one big charity event per quarter, and each quarter it changes the charity. And so maybe the support from closings or whatever. So you can use that to leverage to drive people that may be like, man, I've been looking for an agent and I heard this agent gives back to women in need, or gives back to the animal rescues, or helps rescue horses from the slaughterhouse, right? Whatever that is, like, you can really draw on that and build it up and create some momentum around that. Any questions about the charity events?
So
Fabulous.
is it, sorry, I lied.
No,
Or I do have a question. So then creating your own nonprofit, like, is that something that is, I guess, fairly easy to do? And do you do it as your, like, as a business entity, like My Real Estate, or is it me personally? How does that, I mean, I don't know if you can quickly summarize what that is.
No, it's not super simple to start your own nonprofit. There's quite a bit of paperwork and red tape and rules associated with it. And as far as the best way to start that individually or under an entity, I would absolutely talk with somebody who has some experience with starting nonprofits to see what the best option would be. My guess is it's going to be to create your own corporation separate from real estate that houses that nonprofit organization, and talk with somebody who has some experience there. But there's definitely a process to get it started and things that you have to do on a regular basis to prove that you are a nonprofit and where the money's going and everything. So it is a little bit cumbersome. So I probably wouldn't start there. I would start supporting maybe other charities around that do similar things, and then kind of work your way into that.
Got it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions about client events, about housewarming parties, seminars, charity events? Lots of options to get involved and get in front of people.
Nope.
Fabulous. Thanks for joining this evening. I really appreciate it. This is the end of our week. However, we'll be back next week on Monday. Forms we will be covering. It's not in there appropriately, so I'm not sure exactly what we're covering. Oh, I know what we're covering. Buyer and seller transactions. We'll be talking about what forms you should include at like time of purchase or your time of BRBC. Right? We'll talk about what forms you should include, like at time the listing agreement is signed, what other forms the seller needs to sign. So we'll kind of nail down some of those lists of things that you may want to include at those times. It will be magical. That's at 11 a.m. on Monday. Tuesday, we have seller contract to close. We talked about the seller presentation this week. We talked about the pre-listing situation, setting the listing appointment the week before. Next week's going to be contract to close on Tuesday at 11. Wednesday class is canceled because it's Juneteenth. I can't say that correctly. So we won't have class then. And on Wednesday night, we'll probably still have class at 7 p.m. It's just Lead Gen open Q&A. So you can join us for that. The week after that, there's going to be some changes to the schedule only because I'm going to actually be in person. So I'll see you on the week after that when I'm in the office. And again, thanks for joining tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Amy.
You're welcome.
Bye.